Hi everybody, it's Katie Snyder from Museum of the Grand Prairie in the Champaign County Forest Preserve District. I'm here today in our Discovering Home exhibit, and I'm here because I want to read you a story about a holiday that's coming right up. That holiday is Memorial Day, sometimes called Decoration Day, and the name of the book I want to read to you today is called A Day for Remembering, inspired by the true events of the first Memorial Day, written by Leah Henderson, illustrated by the Coretta Scott King Award winner, Floyd Cooper. And if you're ever looking for a great book on Black history, check out those Coretta Scott King Award winners because they are outstanding. So, A Day for Remembering. And there's just a little thing that talks about it right before the story starts. So I want to read that to you. In 1861, the United States of America was torn apart by a civil war, with the northern states, the Union, fighting the southern states, the Confederacy. The North wanted to keep the country intact, both North and South, and to ensure that all people were equal by abolishing, getting rid of, slavery. The South did not agree, and these states sought to establish themselves as their own country, separate from the North, the Confederate States of America. They also sought to keep slavery. The war was fought for 4 years until 1865, when the Confederacy surrendered to the Union. The United States remained united and slavery was abolished. Memorial Day, originally called Decoration Day, was established to honor those who gave their lives while fighting in the Civil War. The holiday has since evolved to commemorate all American military personnel who have died in any and all wars. This is the story of what many consider the first Memorial Day celebration. So now we use Memorial Day to celebrate all the people who died in all the wars. It started with the Civil War. 9 days in a row, Papa up early and gone again. I still can't go with him, though. He said, Eli, school's where you need to be, reading and counting. But I am counting right here, day 9. Not following after Papa is harder than holding a hot potato in my hands. He said important work has to be done, man's work. I rose on my toes then, pushing out my chin, stretching as tall as my 10-year-old self could, but it made no difference. I imagine him out there standing up to folks who spit in our faces, call us names, try to run us out our home, mad 'cause we ain't enslaved no more. Or I think of him putting out fires and keeping order with the 21st Colored Infantry, Union soldiers, brown like us, who marched up Meeting Street holding their heads high in victory, especially the ones who had been enslaved here in Charleston. They were some of the first to come when the mayor surrendered the city to the Union. So he lived in Charleston, one of those southern states, and his family was formerly enslaved. No use begging to follow Papa, though. Mama will only fuss. Eli, you now have the hard-earned right to learn, and it's gonna get you beyond. Master's locked away learning 'cause knowledge is its own freedom. You're going to school, and no more words are getting spilt about it. So before that, Black children in the South could not go to school. Black children in the North could not go to school. Before the war, worry never let my insides alone, always scared that Mama or Papa would get sold away, never to come back home. But today, Papa comes home as night covers the sky, almost looking worse than after toiling in Master's fields, but those days in the fields are over. Papa said, unlike some, we aren't going back because we aren't enslaved no more. We're digging and building and painting, he says after supper. Digging, building, painting? But Papa is giving no more answers. Wonder what's going on. Wake up, Eli, today you're coming with me. Day 10, I spring out of bed like beans in a skillet and jump into my britches. Something important must be happening if Papa's letting me miss even 1 second of school, my hard-earned right, and Mama isn't putting up no fuss. With molasses-smeared cornbread sliding down my throat, I race to catch Papa. His long strides are met by others as other men join us, their boots crunching against pebbles on the hard road. My new schooling helps me count 28 men in all. Shoulders back, chests out. They stomp along, ready to do real important business Papa talks about. Business he thinks I'm old enough to do now, too. You need to see the work we're doing before it's all done, Papa says. Look at all those men. We strut through the entrance of the planters' race course, where white folks used to watch mighty horses run before the war. But it isn't a race course no more. For a while, the Confederates made it into a jail. Mama and ladies from church used to sneak food to the Union soldiers held prisoner there. Skinny and sickly, those men hardly had more clothes than the most lonesome slave. A newspaper man said those poor souls had no covering but the sky, and that they were heartsick, homesick, sick in body, sick in life, all because they fought against slavery and our God-given right to be free. So over the evening paper, Mama had learned to read in secret while enslaved. She promised, we'll share every morsel we got till we got no more. But the living are gone now, and the dead lie by our feet. So it used to be a race course. Then during the war, the South turned it into a prison camp for soldiers from the North that they had captured. Without a word, Papa and the other men get to digging, hammering, and cutting wood. Papa points to the fence where some of my schoolmates have joined their papas too. Help with the whitewashing, Eli. I drag my feet, though, wanting to stay by Papa's side, but he rushes around doing more work in a minute than he had done in 3 hours on Master's land. An old usher from our church pushes a painting brush in my hand, and I get to working too. As the sun beats our backs, the men sing in heavy, deep voices that rattle the dirt. So whitewashing is a kind of painting for fences. Didn't last quite as long. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. And you may have heard that song before. It's spiritual. When the sun starts slipping behind the trees, they raise an arch. Tired pinches my shoulders, and my palms blaze, crisscrossed with tiny scrapes from a hard day's toil. But I don't pay the stinger egg no mind. We done good work for the soldiers who lost their lives for our freedom. The next morning, before the roosters first gawks, I leap up, but I'm not going to school again today. None of us colored children are. This day is that important. My best mended pants and cleanest shirt wait on my blanket. Mama gathers up her basket full of Mayflower bundles. Papa straightens his hat, and we leave our yard just as our neighbors leave theirs. Black faces, more than I've ever seen together, fill the streets with bouquets, crosses, and wreaths. And back then, they said colored children instead of black children or African American children. I'm not sure a flower is left unpicked in Charleston. My schoolmates carry roses and hawthorns, but since I'm the fastest at learning my numbers and letters, I get to carry the flag right out in front. I stomp knees high like the important colored soldiers did up Meeting Street. Mama strides in her best calico dress behind us with the women, grinning, proud. I can't see Papa, but I know he's somewhere in the quilt of black, brown, and white faces. So a big parade of people came. In lines stretching longer than a mile, we cross onto the old race course, singing with our fullest hearts. John Brown's body lies a moldering in the grave, but his soul goes marching on. And although we sing about John Brown, we are really singing for all the buried Union soldiers. And John Brown's saga is a whole nother story. Good to look up and learn more about. After the last word is sung, quiet comes. Our feet shushing across the sandy soil. We circle the fresh dirt mounds with sweet-smelling petals of rose, lilac, and jasmine swirling to the ground. Thousands of hands sprinkle thousands of spring blossoms. The graves become a bed of petals and tears. So thousands of people came out to decorate the graves of all those soldiers that had given their lives. And that's why they originally called it Decoration Day. The flag flaps in the breeze when I hand it off as if waving goodbye to the Union soldiers, finally at peace. Pastors preach sacrifice, abolitionists proclaim freedom, and officers bay at us to remember. Abolitionists are people who worked to get slavery abolished, get it gone in this country. Even though we are sad, we are celebrating too. My heart rests easy now. Me, Mama, and Papa can't never be sold away no more, and I'm getting my schooling its own freedom, like Mama said. So my insides feel all good. While breaking bread, we listen to more speeches about the martyrs of the race course, and freedom. Blurry eyes praise a Union brigade marching around the pond of blossoms. There's lots of head nodding and mm-hms as families gather around the grandstand, remembering, shedding tears, and giving thanks above. That flag never stops waving. But all my old slave time worries fly away, and as the moon joins in, we leave the race course with empty hands and near bursting hearts, hoping those Union soldiers, hugged by Charleston's sweetest blossoms, know that we will never forget what they've given of themselves for the priceless gift of liberty. And it says, martyrs of the race course. And a martyr is a person who dies for a cause. And this is an actual picture of all the people gathering there that day. And it says, these are the children who sparked my curiosity. This is from the author. Although this image is often attached to May 1st, 1865 event in Charleston, South Carolina, it was taken by Francis Benjamin Johnson at the Whitner Primary School in Hampton, Virginia. Okay, so I guess this wasn't actually the kids coming out, but it's a big group of kids. And this is the race course where the Union officers were imprisoned. They were kept on the field and were subject to the elements. That means no sailing, no walls. The photograph was taken in Charleston, South Carolina in April 1865. So that's the true story of how Memorial Day got started. And it was to honor Union soldiers put together by African-American citizens in Charleston, South Carolina, in the South. So, interesting story that you may not have heard before. And have a wonderful Memorial Day, friends. See you soon.